option of incorporating some hand weights, or you can use something similar to hand weights. So I've got these 5-pound dumbbells, but if you could use cans of soup, you could use some toys of your kids that weigh a little bit. You could also fill a sock with some sand or some marbles or some dirt, or you could simply just do it without the weights and figure out if down the road you want to come back to this video and add the weights in. But this will give you an opportunity to build a little bit more strength and stamina with some of the poses. It's of course going to offer some challenges as well, so please be compassionate towards yourself, modify as needed, rest as needed, and we'll get started. So let's place the weights if you have on the side, and of course if you would like to play some music in the background, go ahead and get that ready. You can hit the pause button until you're ready to start. And now we'll all begin together by bringing awareness inward a bit. So if you'd like to close your eyes, just softly allow those eyelids to relax. Start to soften the muscles of the face. And allow any tensions from the day to start melting away. Bring your attention and your awareness to this present moment. And as you do that, you'll be able to really become a better listener to what your body needs and feel more complete when you've finished. As you slowly follow the rhythm of your breath, smooth out any edges. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing technique, that victorious breath, you can incorporate that throughout the practice. That's that throat sounding or ocean sounding breath that happens by constricting the throat a bit. So inhaling, exhaling, and continuing at your pace. As you've narrowed your attention to less and become more familiar with the present, you could set an intention for your practice today. And once you've set that intention, you can bring the palms together at heart center and gently draw the chin in towards your throat to seal that intention. From there, bring the head back up to a neutral position, releasing the arms down by your side. And just allow the shoulders, as you inhale, to squeeze up near the ears, and as you exhale, roll them back and down. Again, inhale, squeeze out tension. Exhale, release them back and down, opening the heart. One more time, inhale, squeeze. And exhale, release. And keeping the left hand planted, inhale, reach up with your right arm. And as you exhale, reach across to the left. Take your gaze down to the mat on your left side. And breathe into the right side of your body. As you inhale, come to center. And exhale, release that hand down. And on an inhale, reach up with your left arm. And exhale, reaching across, gazing down at the mat. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, release that hand down. And then with both hands, inhale, bring the palms together above your head, and exhale, hands to heart center. We'll turn now and begin with our first set of warm-up exercises on a hands and knees position. And we'll just kind of check in with the spine, just organically moving through maybe some cat-cows or circles. Just listen to what your body needs to find out where the sticky spots are. Bring your awareness to the front of the body and the back of the body throughout the torso where you have your core muscles. From here, if you have hand weights, you can bring them nearby. The option of using them with our next exercise. So drawing the belly in to support your core with shoulders stacked over the wrists. You can begin by reaching for one of the dumbbells in your right hand, and without tipping the hips, you're just going to extend the arms straight out in front and bring it back in. And now moving into triceps, weight starts by your side, elbow bent. And as you exhale, extend the arm behind you, straightening and squeezing that tricep. Coming back to just 90 degrees bend. You do not need to bring the weight all the way to your shoulder. And exhale as you straighten and squeeze. Inhale, back to 90 degree elbow bend. Exhale, squeeze. And this time, come back and release it to the floor. Both hands down, just checking in with your stability and your core. Moving to the other side, take hold of the left weight and bring it up by your side. On the first one, just to get a nice stretch, reach out in front. And then exhale, bring it back. Upper arm hugging your rib cage, elbow at 90 degrees. Inhale there. Exhale, extend the arm behind you and squeeze the upper back of your arm. Inhale to 90. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale to 90. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale to 90 and place it on the floor. On the next one, we're going to do a little bit different and going into a bird dog position. So without weights, you'll have the option of extending the arm in front and the leg behind. And if you're going to use weights, you'll want to hold it and just walk the hand out in front first. Extend the opposite leg behind you with toes on the floor first. And make sure you're very steady through the core and the right hand, left knee, untuck the toes, press into the top of that foot. From there, you can begin by squeezing the glute, lifting the leg parallel to the floor, and pointing the toe down to the earth. So squeeze the quad to straighten that knee. From there, imagine that cup of tea on your back that you don't want to spill, and then just carefully and slowly lift the weight up. It doesn't have to come all the way up by your ears. Breathe and hold. Exhale, hand comes down, knee to the mat. We'll switch to the other side. It's taking the weight in your right hand, walk the weight forward, extend the left leg behind you. When you feel steady through the core, lift that left leg parallel to the earth, squeezing above the knee to keep that knee straight. And if it feels right for you, you can begin to lift the arm up in front. Breathing as you hold, and release it back down, and the knee comes down. From there, if you do have dumbbells and you have space underneath, you can actually keep them in your hands, shoulders stacked over the wrists, and moving into a modified downward dog. Still relaxing through the shoulders, holding onto the weights gives you a little bit more room to maybe even stretch the chest and open up through that area a little bit farther than maybe without. You can pedal it out. And then remain in a static downward dog for a couple more breaths. And then begin to look towards the weights and walk the feet forward. Dropping the hips down and bringing the hands up to your waist. I'm going to turn and face you now. So you're in a modified chair pose. You can have hands at heart if you're not using weights. So we're going to build some strength in our legs and fire up those muscles. as we bring our arms down by our side. And then on an inhale, turn the palms facing forward and squeeze as you bend the elbows, working your biceps. Slowly come down on your exhale. Take another inhale there, exhale, come up. Inhale slowly down, and exhale, come up. Inhale one more time down, exhale, come up. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see better. And we're going to exhale into a gentle forward fold. Soften the knees, maybe pedal out the feet a little bit. And moving into a variation of Surya Namaskar A. Again, you could still use the weights if you'd like. So on an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands either on the mat or your weights, and step back to a plank pose. As you pause there for a breath, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the glutes. And then on an inhale, modified upward dog, bringing the chest up and forward. And exhale, pressing to downward facing dog. Take one more full breath there, and exhale everything out. On your inhale, look where you're heading and bring the feet forward to your halfway lift. Exhale, folding it in. Inhale, I'm going to have you come to a halfway lift. And then kind of like a dumbbell row, just going to squeeze the weights up by your rib cage and then hinge at the hips to come to standing, arms by your side. So if your weights are light and you'd like to, you can take the hands overhead. Otherwise, they can stay here at the heart. Inhale, option, bringing those arms, like I said, up. Exhale, come back down by the chest, slowly extending the elbows, and then hinging forward, letting the weights fall directly underneath your shoulders as you move into a modified forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping back to your plank and pausing. Take another inhale there, and as you exhale, you can either lower all the way to the mat or into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling either into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog, and exhaling to Downward Facing Dog. You can experiment with turning your hands either way, so that either the long edges of the dumbbells are parallel to each other, or the long edges are parallel to the front edge of your mat. Both are fine as long as you're keeping that neutral wrist. Stay there for one more full breath and exhale the air out. Inhale, bring the feet forward for a halfway lift. Exhale, folding in at your center. Inhale, we're going to bend the knees and hips coming into that modified chair pose again. And as you exhale, stay in chair pose but bring the arms down. Moving back into biceps, stay here on your inhale, and exhale, squeeze, and come into that curl. Inhale, slowly release down, and exhale, bicep curl. One more time, inhale, release it down, exhale, squeeze it up, and from there, just start to straighten the knees, come all the way to standing, arms by your side. Moving into variations of Surya Namaskar B with some options there. So your hands can be at heart center. And on an inhale, reach up if you'd like. Exhale, hands back to heart. Take another inhale there, and exhale into chair. Inhale, stay there, hips back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to plank. And lower to Chaturanga or all the way down. Inhale to your upward facing dog or Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up high. Exhale, bring it forward between the hands. As always, option of releasing that back knee to the floor and coming up with hands at heart center. We'll move into some tricep kickbacks with these dumbbells if you have them. Otherwise, you're welcome to just hold your lunge pose. So you want to lean forward just a bit. Upper arms by your rib cage, elbows 90 degrees. Take a deep breath in here and exhale, straighten the elbows and squeeze. Inhale, bend to 90. Exhale, squeeze it back. Inhale to 90. Exhale, squeeze it back. And this time as you inhale, place the weights on the floor by your foot. Step it back and either hold plank or once more move through your half vinyasa, setting up for the other side. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bring it forward to lunge. Hands come up to heart and either stay here or bring your torso forward slightly, lengthening through the crown of the head and upper arms by your rib cage. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, 90-degree bend at the elbows. Exhale into straight elbows. You should feel this in the backs of your upper arms, your triceps. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Place hands on the mat. And again, step it back to plank and either hold it there or move through your vinyasa. Take a couple of breaths. Relaxing through the shoulders. And as you look forward, inhale, bring both feet there to your halfway lift. Exhale, folding in at your center. Returning to chair pose, bend deeper into the knees and the hips, hands at heart center. And exhale, come all the way up. Nice. So we'll be adding on. Feel free to place the weights down and do it without weights anytime. Inhale to chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to do my left leg this time, so try it up just for a change up. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bring it forward. Shifting into warrior A, spin that back heel in. Pressing into the outer blade of that back straight leg. Bring your hands up to heart center. Take another breath in, arms come out by the shoulders. And exhale into an overhead press. Inhale, elbows do not need to go lower than shoulder level. Exhale, press back up. Inhale, slowly bending. Exhale, press up. Inhale, slowly bend, bring the arms back to the front on the mat. And step it back, move through your vinyasa. So I'll be doing the right side now. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step forward, spin that back heel in. Press into the back foot and power through both feet as you bring hands up to heart center. Rotate the palms forward, preparing for an overhead press. Inhale here, exhale, overhead press. Inhale, bend the elbows. Exhale, overhead press. Inhale, bend. Exhale, press. Inhale, bend. Squeeze the chest muscles as the elbows and forearms come close. Then to the mat. Step it back. Half vinyasa. So take a few breaths in downward facing dog, optional child's pose if you need that deeper rest. And instead of coming all the way forward, we're going to move back to the left leg. So inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bring it forward. This time we're going to move into warrior B. So spin that back heel in. Front heel lined up with back arch. And slowly walk the hands to the inside of your left ankle. And bring right arm up into like a row. And let that arm start to pull you up. Left arm can stay straight. It's almost like you're a bow and arrow position. Depending on the weight of your dumbbells, you could also extend the other arm out, turn the palms down, and hold it here. If that's a little too much to hold, you can always Keep the elbows in or release the dumbbells. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, we're going to bring the right hand to our waist, turn the palm forward, and bring that dumbbell to the floor inside the ankle. And from here, we're going to basically do a little bit of a dumbbell row. So we're going to allow our chest to rotate towards the mat a bit. Right arm down. Inhale there. And exhale, just squeeze the elbow. You bend it. Dumbbell lands by your ribcage. Inhale to the floor. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale to the floor. Exhale, squeeze. One more option is now to open that arm up to the sky and slowly rotate. Gonna let that left arm bring us all the way up to standing. Bring the hands to the waist, straighten both legs. And get ready for the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna rotate right foot out, left foot in. And moving into Warrior B, we'll start with bending the knee, bringing the left arm by your side, and extending the right arm out at shoulder height. From there, turn the right palm down, option of extending the other arm out, and gazing over the right arm. Preparing for our next pose, you can bring both hands to waist first if you'd like, and then slide the right hand down. Rotate the torso, chest towards the mat a bit, and release the left arm down. Moving into the rows, you're going to just squeeze and bring the weight by your rib cage. Release it slowly down. Make sure you're breathing and moving slowly and mindfully. Holding it near your rib cage, you can hold it there or extend the arm up to the sky. Option of gazing up. And then powerful through both feet, can come back to that Warrior B. Hands on the waist, start to rotate the feet back around and come back to the front of your mat, arms by your side. Good. Hands together at heart center. And exhale into chair pose. Release the arms down as you move into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back, hold that plank for a moment. Squeeze the quads, press back through the heels, and lower to chaturanga. Inhaling to upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhale, both feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, folding it in. If you want to continue with the dumbbells, carefully bring it up to heart center in chair pose. And exhale, straighten the legs, arms by your side. So we're going to move into a balance pose using the weights as an additional challenge. And so anytime you want to just pause and put the dumbbells down, that's completely fine. But we'll start with a tree pose, balancing on the left leg first. So pick your gaze in front of you. Allow the right leg to float up. And then carefully allow it to come into the position on the inside of your left leg. From there, you can just bring the hands up near your heart as you align and lengthen. And then opening the palms to face forward. Bringing the elbows in line with your shoulders. Taking an inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly squeeze the forearms towards one another. Wow, that really challenges my balance today. And exhale, open back up. Squeezing in and opening back up. One more time, squeezing it in. Release the leg down for a moment and arms by your side. Okay, take a moment to breathe. Shifting over to the other foot. Letting the thigh float up. And bringing the foot into position. Hands back at heart as you make your adjustments and plan your focus. Stay here or open the arms out to the side, elbows in line with your shoulders. Inhaling there and exhaling, squeezing the forearms together. Opening on your inhale, here I go again. Exhale, closing. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And then bring the hands to your waist and release the feet, Tadasana. So we'll take a moment releasing the weights all the way down to the mat. Coming up, just to circle out the wrists. If you've been holding dumbbells, stretching through the fingers. Just giving the hands a little bit of a break. And we'll go into a forward fold with the hands behind our back and releasing the fingers. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Release the hands down, come back to heart, and all the way back up to standing. Preparing for our next balance pose challenge. Option of grabbing those dumbbells. And we'll move into Virabhadrasana 3 with dumbbell row option. So weight in the right foot, left toes are back. Gonna let the arms and the kind of stay heavy and letting the weights just dangle underneath the shoulders first. So begin shifting all of your weight into the right foot and begin hinging at the hips, coming forward. Dumbbells are beneath your shoulders. So you can stay there and just work on that balance challenge. Option of bending the elbows and coming up into a row. Releasing them down and squeezing them up. Inhale down and exhale up. And then bring the left foot next to the right. Arms by your side. Checking in with your breath. And preparing for the other side. So knee just soft enough so the muscles can support. And slowly start to hinge at your hips. Arms underneath your shoulders. You can stay there or squeeze and bring the hands up by your ribs into a row. Release it down. And squeeze it back up. Release it down. Squeeze up. Release it down. Squeeze it up. Right foot to the mat. Arms by your side. Okay, take a moment in Tadasana and breathe. Hands at heart center. Inhale, bend into Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to your plank. Lower to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg high. Bring it all the way forward between your hands. And start to walk the hands around. Bring the feet a little closer. Toes will be out. Heels slightly in. And start sinking into the hips. And coming into goddess position, elbows bent, weights at heart. Staying in that deep squat, making sure those knees are aligned as they should be over the toes, heart lifted. Moving through a few rounds of bicep curls here, or just holding hands at heart center. Breathing. A lot of focus required when you change it up with just a little something simple like holding dumbbells. Good. One more. And then just start to straighten the knees, squeeze it, and come back to the front edge of your mat. We're going to use a half vinyasa to get us towards the floor. Last time with weights from a standing position. So inhale to Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. You can just lower the knees to the mat. Cross one ankle over the other. And find your seated position. Keeping the weights by your side. So take just a couple moments finding your own seated position with an aligned spine, using any bolsters you may need to find that perfect balance of strength and stability. Checking in with your intention and breath. And then with eyes open, moving into variations of boat pose Navasana. You can bend the knees in. Maybe start with placing the hands under the thighs. Lift the legs up. Maybe just keep them parallel to the earth this first time. Option of taking hold of those dumbbells. Bringing them up for an overhead press while you're balancing in your Navasana. If you can take the legs straighter, go for it. If you're not sure, maybe keep them there. Place the feet down and the weights down, and then come into a tabletop for a counter. And release the hips back to the mat for another round of Navasana. Weights can be by your side in case you want to use them. Begin by finding that spot just behind your sit bones, squeezing thighs together, lifting the heart. Allow the feet to float off the floor. Maybe take them a little straighter if they want to go. You can stay there or return to bent knees if you want to grab the weights. Bring them up and now straight overhead. Good. Keep squeezing the thighs together. Back at the heart. Open the arms out. Elbows in line with shoulders. Rotating to the right. Holding it there and breathing. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist left, hold it there and breathe. Inhale to center, one more press up, bring it down, release the weights, bring the feet to the mat and come back to tabletop. Release back to the mat. Hug the knees in close, lift your heart center up. And then maybe hold the opposite wrist or elbow, and then round the back. Drop the head forward, stretching through your shoulder blades. As you lift your head back up, I'm going to move into option here of just going into a simple cross-leg position. You could even sit on your heels. I want to add a hip stretch, so I'm going to have my right knee stacked on top of my left knee, feet out to the side. You've done this position before. And this time we're going to move into some tricep work again. And to do that, we're just going to take the right hand, holding onto the dumbbell, and extend it straight up to the sky. Left hand can simply stay down by your hip joint on the left side for stability, or I'll give you an option in a moment. But I want you to keep that right bicep by your right ear. As you bend the elbow, the weight will come behind your head. So if you wanted to come and bring the elbow over a little bit for just a deeper stretch for a moment, that added weight kind of really gives some nice depth to your stretch. And then release the left hand back to the mat. And we're going to move through a few rounds of tricep extensions. Continue to keep that upper arm glued to your head so that you're working the right muscle. Shoulders stay out of the ears. Slow movements with your breath. Never hurts to hold that squeeze at the top. Make sure you really feel that muscle. And slowly bending. We'll go for one more. Allow it to bend. And then once more, you can take the left hand to pull it into a little deeper stretch, letting the weight just kind of dangle behind your head. And feel a deep stretch as you breathe. Release the left hand, bring the elbow by your side, and place that weight down. We're going to change legs if you are doing what I'm doing. If you're still sitting on your heels, you don't really have to change anything. And so this time we'll need the left weight, right hand by our side. Extend the arm straight up first, and then bend the elbow and make sure that the upper arm is glued to your head. From there you can take that right arm, bring the elbow a little more behind your head, and then just let the weight of the dumbbell create a nice deep stretch through the left tricep. You may have to push your head against the arm just a little bit so that it doesn't roll forward. That might happen if your triceps are super tight. Right hand comes down, left hand stays where it is. And as you inhale, straighten the elbow, squeeze that muscle, and exhale, release it back down. And just continue at a pace that works with your breath, keeping the upper arm hugging your head. One more on that side. Bend the elbow. You can take the arm over again and really add that stretch. And then release the elbow. Bring the weight back to your shoulder and then down by your side. We'll uncross the legs, extend them out in front, shake them out a little bit, and then open up into a V. I think it helps to kind of lift up, tilt the hips forward as you bring the tops of the feet back. You won't need your weights this time. You're just going to sit up tall, and that may be as far as you need to go to feel that inner thigh stretch, but if not, you can start to walk the hands forward. As you inhale, you can walk yourself back up to an upright position and then bring the legs together. I'm going to have to turn because you're going to come down onto our back, and you want to again have the weights nearby, one on each side. Another way you can come down is having those hands up here at your chest, and then you're going to just simply press them up and slowly roll back, letting the weights kind of come towards the knees. You roll all the way down. So you're on your back, your arms are to the sky, and then turn your palms to face the short edge of your mat closest to your feet. From there you could add in some dumbbell presses, which would just be allowing the elbows to barely touch the floor, and then squeezing the chest muscles to press back up. Another option is while the weights are at the top, turn the palms facing each other, slight bend in the elbows, almost like you're hugging a tree. And then you're going to slowly open, keeping those elbows bent like you're opening, releasing from around the tree, and then squeezing the chest muscles to hug the tree, barely letting the weights touch. So you should feel like a curve, even when opening, and then hugging as you bring the weights closer together. So either one of those, we're going to do a few more rounds. If you do not have weights, you can still squeeze the muscles and do this exercise and get great benefit, because a lot of it has to do with the mind and the intensity of squeezing the muscles you're working. one more wherever you are. And this time, just bring the arms down by your side, keeping the weights in your hands, palms up, arms by your side. And we're going to walk the heels in a little bit, preparing for a bridge pose. For this bridge pose, you can now transfer the weights to kind of like your hip creases or your belly, depending on how heavy they are. I'm going to keep them at my hip creases and roll the hips back, lift into that bridge, and just that tiny bit of extra weight can be helpful to build some extra strength here. Make sure that your chin stays away from your chest and breathe in some length to the lower back. Keep some weight in the base of your big toes and just holding it here for a few breaths. If you'd rather, you can pulse it up a little bit. And just holding that bridge pose, breathing. One more inhale here, and exhale, slowly bring it back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, slowly back down. Inhale, lift up. And this time, bring the upper arms down to the mat, elbows are bent at 90 degrees. Knuckles toward the sky, palms facing each other. Still holding the bridge pose. Option of bringing the arms up together. And just over the head, take the arms shoulder width apart. Moving into some tricep work again. You could do this with the hips down. Just depends on how much strengthening you want out of this pose. If you'd rather just keep the focus on the triceps, you can bring the hips to the earth and do it that way. Barely letting the weights rest, so that you don't want to really turn the tricep muscles off. You want them filling this throughout. Trying to keep the upper arms stable and not moving. Check in with your hips, they're still high if you're doing it with bridge pose. And we'll do one more. And then bring the upper arms back to the earth and slowly lower the hips down. You can extend the arms out, release the weights for a moment as you straighten through the feet. Reach out behind you and take a nice long stretch. And then circle out the wrist, make some fists and relax and open. And hug the knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Gonna bring the feet back to the mat. Do one bridge pose without the weights. So lift the hips up slowly. And if available, interlace the fingers underneath your body. Or you could place a block underneath your hips. And just get a nice stretch through the chest muscles. Breathe. Take the arms out to the side and slowly roll it back down. Moving into a figure four on the right side. Make sure you keep a bend in that ankle as you hug the left knee in. Close your eyes and just surrender to the sensation and release of stored energy. Release the hands and let the left foot float to the mat. Gonna hug behind the right thigh and allow that knee to straighten. And slide the hands up the leg a little bit more and move into a hamstring stretch. And hug that knee back in one more time. Release it to the mat, moving into figure four on the left side as you cross ankle over and keep it bent. Hug the right knee in towards your body. Release the right foot to the mat. Hug the left knee in, and then try to straighten that knee. Maybe slide the hands up the leg towards the feet. But keep the shoulders relaxed and heavy. Feel the old blood and energy drain from the foot to be refreshed at the heart center. Hug that knee in, allow the right to join it. Maybe rock side to side one more time or two. And then open the arms, either goalpost arms or straight out to the side. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let both knees roll to the right as you gaze to the left and melt the left shoulder blade into the earth. Inhale, come back to center with your gaze and your knees. And exhale, knees to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Hug the knees in. Head to the knees on an exhale. Release the head, release the feet. And with the heels in close, just open the knees out to the side, soles of the feet together. You can use your hands to just add a little extra pressure for a moment. Trying to press the low back into the earth. Bring the knees back together. And preparing for Shavasana, go ahead and start to extend the legs out. Lengthen the body, arms by your side, a comfortable distance away with the palms up. And feel the body start to melt and surrender into the support of your mat. You should feel your breathing rate already slow or start to slow down now. Allowing everything to become still. As you move into that space for Shavasana. Feel free to pause the video here and get some music that will provide you with a point of calm focus, or just continue to focus on your breath. Optimally resting here for about 10 more minutes. Come out of your Shavasana, start to move the fingers and the toes. Maybe swallow, feel the throat muscles. Open your eyes wide and then squeeze them tight shut. Start to circle the wrists, maybe bend the elbows and walk the feet in by bending the knees. And gently roll to one side and pause there for a moment, just resting your head on your upper arm. And then use the hands to help you come back to a seated position. In a comfortable cross-legged position with your eyes closed. You may extend the arms straight so the backs of your hands rest on your knees. Palms can be open or touching the index finger and thumbs to keep the focus more inward. Keeping the eyes closed, just notice any shift, change you've had in the way your mind and body feel. You can either mentally or audibly chant the sound of Om, tuning into the sound of the chimes along with it. Inhaling and oming on your own. And with hands at heart center, recognizing that everything you need is already inside of you, and find strength in that certainty as you lead with your heart. The light in me honors and bows to that same light that resides in you. Namaste.